What's up? This is for April 24th, 2026. Today could have been a disaster, and quite frankly, it probably should have been. Um, that had nothing to do with the market. Coming in, as we see here, the read wasn't super clean. I wanted to see us reject off this 15 minute that we were seeing at open. The big blue for value gap underneath is a 4 hour. So we had an hourly underneath, we had a 4 hour, but there was no clear liquidity, no strong draw on liquidity, and price wasn't giving me anything just yet where I felt it was aligned. So the plan was pretty simple. There was no red folder news. I just wanted to be patient. I wanted to wait for an A plus setup, or I just didn't trade. Um, so I ended up making a massive mistake, which is kind of normal with this season of my trading right now. Um, Not to normalize it internally or whatever, but I took two trades thinking I was on my eval, but I was on my funded. So the first trade is honestly fine. We had internal manipulation that I was seeing under those stack lows to the left here on ES. NQ had already started moving higher. We had those stacked highs on both assets that we put in earlier in the New York session, and I had delivery, and I feel like I just got a good entry on this. What ended up happening was ES rebalances to the first presented for value gap. NQ is now displacing higher as we are closing through the change in the state and the inverse for value gap on ES, and I wanted to be in the more bullish asset. So as soon as we closed through, it was an order block here on NQ, and if I flip to ES, we'll see it. And the change in the state on ES, like I had mentioned, we see delivery to 50% and even 75% of my targeted range, but we generate another relative equal high. So I said out loud, I was like, okay, I need to move my stop to break even here. And you see it occur live, but I don't actually move it. And the only reason why, the only logical explanation was that I was just thinking about the money. And I was thinking that I was on an eval, but I wasn't on an eval. And that was the big mistake. I could have managed this correctly, but I was thinking about the money. I wanted to see delivery. Yesterday, I got stopped out before my delivery actually came. So I was thinking about yesterday's loss or break even trade. I was like, okay, well, I should just let this go because I don't want it to get stopped out. And I feel like we're going to move higher because we're rejecting the for value gap that we rebalanced to, whatever. So this gets stopped out. We end up rebalancing to the first presented. We don't end up closing. It's a 3 minute on NQ, and price sends us back to get stopped out. So at this point, we're at 75% of my targeted range. Should be stop at break even. We can even see me put the stop up, and it just doesn't happen. So just waiting here. I mark out this 3 minute, which we close at, but we don't close through. And we see I have my stop at break even, and then I end up moving it all the way back down, so adding more risk to myself, and then I get stopped out. This was just a management issue on this one. So the second trade is coming up here in a second. We see me look at the opening range gap, which, yes, is already rebalanced to 50% of the opening range gap. We don't take any sell side liquidity. We just inverse this random SIBI. We're still holding bullish order flow, but there was no manipulation. I decided to go long. There's no change in the state. We don't make a move lower that sweeps anything, right? We just put in an equal low, and I'm just fixated on these equal highs. Price once again rebalances to the first presented for value gap. It's still holding it, it's still respecting it on ES, and price goes lower. I get stopped out again. This was just not even my model. This was completely forced. I ended up trying to take a third, which is when I get rejected, and when I realize that I'm on the completely wrong account. And at that moment, it hit me how bad this could have been. I thought I was in full size. Thank God I wasn't. And this could have seriously damaged my funded. I mean, I'm already... There's the stop out. I've already been on a series of losses, which is why I wasn't trading on it. I was trying to rebuild consistency. And the only thing that saved me was me accidentally being at half size. So, again, this wasn't a strategy problem. This was just a lack of awareness, a lack of discipline. Taking trades completely outside my system because I had already lost on my first one. And I was like, okay, fuck it. Like, not thinking I am my system. So, like, coming to the checklist, I did my routine before the session. I didn't feel like we had a confirmed draw on liquidity. I knew that. I sort of waited for the model to present on the first entry of the day. After that, I did not. I didn't manage it correctly. I actually managed it wrong in my first trade, which is generally what causes me to make the mistake of taking more bad trades. And then I didn't stop after my trade limit. So again, the result makes sense. When I fuck up, it's like I need to continue making, like, I have to try to gain the color of the day back when it's not about that. So the biggest takeaway from today is you don't get to turn discipline on and off depending on the account. Whether it's an eval or a funded, it doesn't fucking matter. The standard has to be the same. That's what got you the funded. That's what has brought you up to this point of consistency. Like, not right now, but being consistent. It is not about the fucking account that you're using. It's your identity. So moving forward, I have to verify the account before I take a single trade, obviously. And it needs to be A+ setups. After I take 2 trades, I completely stop. There's no exceptions. Because today wasn't just a bad trading day, it was a reminder, which almost every day this week has been, of how fast things can go wrong when you're not locked in on the process and thinking about what exactly you need to be doing. So here's a trade. I ended up switching to the eval. We set in another relative equal high, and then we move lower. We end up getting stopped out on the eval. So yeah, there's that. I ended up taking, I want to say 2 or 3 trades on the eval. Finally getting delivery with the last one that I take after this. We'll see it at the end of the video where I enter. I ended up turning it off. That was the one that actually got delivery. But yeah, it was just, even when you have the right read on the liquidity, you just have to wait until it is so clear on what's happening. And if it's not clear, then there's no reason to be taking a trade, right? So we'll see this play out. We reach down into OTE of the displacement leg that moves us back up to the buy side, and we start moving lower. We tap into the inverse. But yeah, something's got to change, and whether you realize that or you don't realize that in your own trading. So here's a short that I took actually, and then I go long. So I take 2 losses and a win. The break even is, or sorry, the eval is at break even on the day because of the last one that I took. Again, this is not my model. Like, if I was overtrading, but I was taking ones that are my model, I would be like, fucking cool, because I'm executing on my model. But that's not even the case. So this one gets stopped out, and then boom, I go long. And it's like, okay, that wasn't my model either. My model exists on this long entry, but I didn't even know that. I was just fucking entering blind. So that is it for the day. That is it for the week. And learn from me and know to fucking not trade how I'm trading.